What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more content for you guys. We got Brian Daigle with us once again, and everyone that keeps asking, where's Sim? Where's Sim? He is currently living his life in LA. Well, he's not living his life in LA, but he's living his best life in LA, out on holiday over there. So everyone send him best wishes. But we are here with Brian. Brian, how are we doing today?
We're doing good, buddy. We're doing good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. So what we're going to get into today is we're going to look at the next four fixtures before the next international break, and we're going to see where we think Spurs could be by the next international break, just kind of looking forward. We're going to compare the fixtures between the teams up there as well, with Liverpool, City and Arsenal. But first and foremost, let's get into the next four Spurs fixtures. So we've got Fulham, Palace, Chelsea and then Wolves. On the face of those fixtures, Fulham at home, Palace away, Chelsea at home and Wolves away, how many points do you think we'll get in the next four?
I've gone for 8, which is still undefeated, and I would be perfectly happy with 8. 2 home wins, 2 away draws.
So you're going for 3 points against Fulham, 3 points against Chelsea, and then draws away at Palace and Wolves. Do you not think we can go to Wolves and win?
Mate, potentially on our day right now, we can potentially go anywhere, but Wolves has been a notoriously hard place for us, hasn't it? They've just beaten Man City as well, so it's not to be sniffed at. It's not like when we went to Luton, this is what we shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be going, we're going to Wolves, that's easy, and start disrespecting teams and thinking we're going to do it. That's what gets us into problems last season. So if we can go and take 8 points and still be undefeated by November, then that's something to be very, very, very proud of. And I would take 8 points right now.
And when you're looking at it, Fulham, I've gone for us to get 10 points, by the way. I think we'll beat them all apart from Palace. I think Palace away will be tricky against their low block. You know how they like to frustrate us. I know we won 4-0 there last year, and we have had good form against them in recent years, but I just feel like the way they set up with a really strong defence, I think it could be quite difficult for us, to be honest. But I've gone, like I said, for 10 points, and I think let's be honest, 10 points will be an unbelievable total from the next 4 games, taking it, even if we go unbeaten from now until the next international break. If I would have told you before the start of the season we'll be unbeaten by all 3 international breaks are finished in terms of the start of the season, you would have bitten my hand off for it, wouldn't you? So I think your points tally or my points tally would be very impressive. But you look at the game against Fulham, we usually do well against Fulham at home. I won't say it's a given, because no game in the Premier League is a given, but I think most would kind of assume that we'll beat Fulham at home. Like I said, Palace away is probably the most difficult one there, in my opinion. I think it brings a lot of tests that maybe Spurs have dealt with this season, but maybe some would say a bit fortuitous. The Chelsea at home is an interesting game. Obviously, the return of Pochettino, that's probably the most mouth-watering tie out of them all, this game. It's going to be on a Monday night under the lights. Like I said, the return of Pochettino. Chelsea, I think, are starting to find their groove a bit at the moment, starting to score goals, starting to get points on the board. How do you see that one going?
Well, I mean, first of all, just to quickly add, with Fulham, we've got payback for the Carabao Cup, so there's going to be an extra spice to get revenge on that one. Listen,
no Basuma, though.
That's true. That's true. But thankfully, it's home, and hopefully Pierre will come in, if it should be him, which we imagine it would be, and he'll get the job done or facilitate getting the job done. Chelsea, like you said, I mean, people will know. I always say, the biggest game at home every single season, or every season, is the North London derby. But there's no doubt the extra spice going into this Chelsea game with Pochettino coming back. This game is huge. I mean, that's probably the dream ticket this season for that home game, isn't it? That's the game people want to be at. And I applaud how incredible the Spurs fans have been this season at home, where we've struggled since the stadium opened. It's been incredible this season. Well, I think this is going to be louder than when we beat Arsenal 3-0 with Conte. I think this game, the roof is going to come off that stadium and the fans will be absolutely up for this. And the 12th man will see us through. I think this game is going to have everything, isn't it?
Do you think that we can avoid defeat all season at home?
Well, let's see. We've had United come. We've had Liverpool come.
Yeah.
We get past Chelsea. That's 3 of the big 6. Man City, we know what normally happens.
Could be different though with the way we play our football, because like kind of we had the blueprint there to beat Man City, and maybe with this style of football could actually work against us in a way.
Although we did it with Poch, didn't we? Playing Poch was Guardiola's first defeat. So you never know when you've
different
got someone
Man City though, isn't it?
Yeah, let's forget about that bit. Let's just focus. Let's focus on that. Do you know what? We've done it once, haven't we? The last season at the Lane. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Put it this way: if we can go into this international break still undefeated, especially at home, I think it's on the cards.
Wow. And Arsenal obviously is the last one you're going to talk about. I mean, I think if we can avoid defeat in the Man City and Arsenal game, I think we can. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I honestly just can't see it. I can't see a team. The only other team that normally worries me when they come to White Hart Lane is Newcastle. They just seem to always find a way. Always seem to find a way to get the job done at us. So I think if we can get past those 3 undefeated, Man City, Arsenal, and Newcastle, then it's definitely on the cards.
Yeah, and then the Wolves game. Away at Wolves is always difficult, like you say, and we do usually have a very hard time there. But I think I don't think their defence is as solid as maybe as it has been over previous years, and I think that there's an area that we can really target there. They have been hard to beat. They gave Manchester United a really hard game, which they probably should have won. They beat Man City, like you said before. So I think it's definitely something to worry about. But I back our quality to get the 3 points in that game. But the caveat is that Bissouma comes back for that Palace game, and then he's walking the tightrope again. One more yellow card, and he's suspended. So if he is suspended for any of these Chelsea or Wolves games, I can see difficulties there.
Yeah, you're right. Like I said, you're worried about Wolves' defence. Well, they've got another 3 games to sort that out before we come rocking into town. Just like Chelsea have miraculously found their form, just as we're around the corners to them. This is a league where we never know what's going to happen, do we? You just never, ever know what is going to happen. So, yeah, Wolves away is always a tough game. Obviously, we had that one when Jan Vertonghen scored the last-minute winner. We've had joy in the Carrow Cup on the penalty shootout, but we normally make a real tough job of it at Molineux. That's the only reason I've gone for a draw there, just on previous history. And Slab, so would you say away to Wolves, they're somewhat of a bogey team?
I mean, maybe not as much as maybe some other certain teams, which we won't mention, but I think definitely away from home, we always find it difficult, don't we? Always. Even do you remember like under Pochettino when we were at our peak, like we would lose away to Wolves and then we would lose at home and then beat them away. It was a very strange dynamic.
Exactly. It's strange. And we did that with Jose. We lost. And I can remember that game during COVID when Tanguy and Dembele scored like in the first minute. And then we drew 1-1, and it was the most boring game, or one of the most boring games. We just seem to make hard work of it at Wolves.
Well, let's hope we can turn over those form books and get the win against Wolves. We have won 3 out of the last 5 against them, and it's a different proposition of Wolves this season. You know, I think Gary O'Neill is doing a good job there, to be honest. But I feel like they might be easier to beat than they were maybe a couple of years back when they had that 5 at the back system.
And I do have to mention one thing actually in favour of maybe getting more than a draw. It's the first time we're going to play Wolves without Adama Traore, who was like the thorn in our side. So that could have a huge implication for us.
Yeah, true. So I think next 4 games, you're going 8 points. I'm going 10 points. So for my tally, it will leave us on 30 points. On yours, it will leave us on 28, which is a very good haul, to be honest. By what's the date? What will the date be? Like mid-November time, around there.
Yep.
So I think it'll be a really good tally. But let's look at all the other teams and see who they're playing and maybe where we'll be in the league, because we are sitting top of the league, obviously, right now. Arsenal, we'll look at their fixtures first. They go Chelsea away. How many points do you reckon they get Chelsea away?
This is the We Hate Tottenham derby, isn't it? This is where they like come together.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Be beneficial. So Arsenal got Chelsea away.
Yeah.
I'm going draw.
Sheffield United at home, 3 points.
Yeah. Sheffield, yeah. 3
Newcastle away.
points. 0 points.
And Burnley at home, probably 3
3
points,
points.
right? So that's 7 points. I had them down at 7 points as well. I had the exact same as you. Man City have actually got some hard fixtures. They've got Brighton at home. How many points do you reckon there?
You know what? They need to come back. This is bright. Tough.
Bear in mind, Rodri is back now.
3 points, Man City.
Man United away.
Oh. I don't know why, but I feel Manchester United win. I ain't just saying that because of.
I said a draw. I said draw.
I'm going Man U win. I'm sticking my neck. I'm going Man U win. They just seem to do it at Old Trafford.
Bournemouth at home. It's got to be 3 points. And Chelsea away.
Oh. There's some tasty fixtures for our opponents, isn't there?
Yeah.
Chelsea away. Draw.
Wow. So you're going 3, 6, 7 points for Man City.
Yep.
I went for 10. I went for 10 points for Man City. I think I went for them to beat Brighton, a point against United, to beat Bournemouth, and to beat Chelsea. That's what I went for.
So I've gone for the United defeat and the Chelsea draw. That's where the point difference is.
And Liverpool have got the Merseyside derby against Everton at home.
Liverpool
Easy win. Yeah. Forest at home.
Liverpool win.
Luton away.
Liverpool win.
And Brentford at home.
Oh, they're showing that Liverpool. I think Liverpool sweep 12 points.
Yeah, I had them for 12 points as well. So, I mean, Arsenal and City do have tasty fixtures before the next international break, but Liverpool seem to have the easiest one. 3 home games as well out of the 4 for Liverpool, which you got to say they've got the easiest out of the lot. So, bear in mind the points tally you said. If I go by my tally, the league table will look at Tottenham still top on 30 points, Liverpool second on 29, Man City third on 28, and Arsenal fourth on 27. So it's still so tight going into it. 3 points separate the top 4.
Yeah, I think the only difference with me is Liverpool are top of us by 1 point. So that'll be the only difference. If someone said to me,
and you have Man City less points than me as well.
Okay, so there you go. So if someone said to me, at the end of the 3rd international break, you'll be second in the league, 1 point off top, and still undefeated. Are you taking that? I would bite both your arms and your legs off. So yeah, I mean, let's hope. I mean, I've got to say, when I say 8 points, people might say, "Oh, Brian, you're being negative." I mean, how is taking 8 points out of 12? That's the standards we're setting ourselves now. That's such a good start. Where you look at that and you say 8 points out of 12, you want more. This is just giving an opinion. I'm hoping it's more. I just feel 8 points will still be a very good return.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And you got to bear in mind as well, the next game back after the international break in November is Liverpool Man City.
Oof. It's going to get spicy.
Yeah,
it's going to get spicy.
Let me just check who we have first game back after the international break. We'll have Villa at home. It's not exactly an easy tie.
No.
So actually, that's when it gets really tricky for us. Is when we come back after we got Villa at home, City away, West Ham at home, and Newcastle at home. Those are the tricky ones for us.
Exactly. This is why. That's why psychologically as well, Ben, if we can get through this undefeated, forget the point return. If we can go undefeated, it's a huge confidence booster going into what will be our trickiest run of fixtures so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, I genuinely believe, hand on heart, we're going to be on 30 points by the next international break comes along, and I think we'll be sitting top of the league with those kind of tricky fixtures for our opponents, for our top 4 or title, whatever you want to call it, opponents in the next 4 games after that. With our tricky fixture list, it could stand us in good stead to maybe drop a few points over that period.
Listen, would I rather your predictions come true rather than mine? Hell yes, I'd rather 10 than 8. But yeah, if we get the 10 points and we're sitting top of the league, The footballing fans from other teams are going to have a nuclear meltdown.
Yeah.
The press and the media are going to go wild. Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it in social media is going to be a barrel of laughs. And the Spurs will go marching on.
But tell me, do you think right now Spurs are in a title race, or is it way too early to talk about stuff like that?
For me, it's too soon. It's too soon. Listen, we are on a journey, and for once, we're on a Tottenham Hotspur train where it's the happy train. Everything, birds are singing, the sun is shining, the grass is green, the sky is beautifully blue without clouds in the sky. Let's enjoy it while it's lasting, and whilst it's happening. I think after 8 games, it's way too soon to say. I said at the start of the season, Ben, 8th or higher, I'll be happy. After a few games in, I was like, no, this is Europa League with like top 6. And then after, I can't remember if it was Liverpool or Luton going into this break undefeated, I was like, no, do you know what? 4th is ours. And it's like, okay, we're doing this. And I think now...
Let's keep those expectations rising, Brian.
Exactly. That's the thing. That saying 4th, I think we can honestly do 4th, and maybe, but not 4th late push. I think we can comfortably get 4th right now. Let's get through this next month's fixtures, and then say, do you know what? Maybe, and based on the other teams' results, we'll see where the grass lies. But right now, I think Champions League is very, very, very doable.
Yeah, of course it is, 100%. But I agree with you with what you're saying about after 8 games. Talking of the title is just a bit of a silly nonsense, to be honest. But if we go these next 4 games and it goes the way kind of we've expected it, or halfway between me and you, is that still early? Still too early?
I think, again, Ben, what happens, it may not be too... I think if we put it this way, if we get through November or this run of fixtures, then it's a serious look on, like, right, how are we going to do in January? Because we all know, like we spoke when we were doing Unpopular Opinion, if we go injury-free, if we go suspension-free, well, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Injury and suspension-free. We're not going to get no bookings and we're not going to pick up an injury. And then obviously with players going on international duty, there needs to be cover to keep the title push going. Not saying, we've had a good start. We've set we're quite high. We're above expectations. So if we drop a few points, then we're still ahead of No, it all comes down to how we recruit in January, how quickly and what type of player. And then if that works well in January, then you can really start talking, can't you?
For me, I actually think Spurs can start talking after in 8 games time, essentially. Like if we go how it expects for me for the next 4 games, we pick up 10 points. Still, I don't think we can talk about it. But if we come out of that Villa, Man City, Newcastle run, and we're still up there and we're still in the conversation and we're still in like the top 3 or within touching distance of the top of the league, then I don't see why not. Like, why can't we keep up there for the majority of the season if we can? Because essentially we would have beaten Liverpool, beaten Chelsea, beaten Manchester United, and would have played Aston Villa, Man City, West Ham, and Newcastle. That's a big bulk. That's a big bulk of everyone, and got a draw at the Emirates.
Yeah, no. Listen, we're picking up points where we never picked up points, putting in performances where we never put in performances. Everything is looking to start getting the nosebleed and thinking up there. But like we said, it all depends on that squad depth, doesn't it? It really does. And let's just hope, if we are in that situation, we get some players in, because if we get the right players in, then there is enough to start saying, okay, if that one gets an injury or a suspension, we got then you can really start talking about it. Because I believe if we have to run, like you said, and get through those 4 games after the 4 we've just discussed, we could be spoken about in the race. But like what happened before, where we've just fell short, that could happen if the recruitment's not right. If the recruitment's right, then I think we could actually put on a prolonged charge and a serious attempt without falling off, let's say, come March, April. It's all about that. But listen, the way things are right now, every Spurs fan should be absolutely delighted, over the moon, and just absolutely thoroughly impressed and delighted with what's happening at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that brings an end to the episode. But I think the main point of this video was to see just a quick look into the future over the next 4 games and see where Spurs might be come the next international break. I just can't believe there's just so many international breaks. It's so annoying. But this will be the last. This next one will be the last one, I think, till March time or around there. So a nice long run of Spurs to get through after this next international break. And like I said, if my predictions come through, because my prediction for the Arsenal-Liverpool thing, I said 4 points for that game. And Sim was like, nah, what do you mean 4 points? I'll be happy with just to stay undefeated. So if my prediction does come through, I will be absolutely over the moon. And then it'll be very much on how we do over the next 4 games after that, because that is probably our most difficult run of the season so far. But Brian, thank you very much for joining me today. I want to know all your predictions for the next 4 games, not just for the Spurs games, but for our oppositions as well, and Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool. Where do you think Spurs will be in the table after the next 4 games? But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.